What's up, you guys? I'm Dan. This is Frugal Not Cheap, and I sold my Tesla. So I own my 2017 Tesla Model S 75 rear-wheel drive for just over 4 years, and I've just come back from selling the vehicle. Now, why did I do that? Well, if you haven't seen my recent video, I've actually moved to Asia. So as of the time that you're watching this, not at the time of filming, obviously, but as of the time you're watching this, I am in Japan for the month of June and the first half of July, with a little trip to Canada in between. But I'll be moving to Bangkok, Thailand in mid-July. And Bangkok, of course, has really good public transportation, both the subway and the SkyTrain, so there will be no need to own a vehicle. There's also plenty of taxis and other things like that. So yeah, no need to own a vehicle there. And so that's why I have sold my Tesla. Did absolutely love the car, so I'm just going to kind of detail my ownership experience and my final thoughts here in today's video. So I bought my car in February, March of 2021. It had 60,500 miles. So, well, no, 60,800 and something miles. So basically 61,000 miles. And I sold it with just over 90,000 miles, again, after 4 years and 2 months or so of ownership. Over the time that I own it, did anything go wrong? Well, not really. It kind of made a little bit of a noise, so I had the drive unit replaced under warranty just to be safe when I first got the vehicle. Other than cleaning out the HVAC system because it got a little musty once or twice, I just did that myself. The only actual repairs that I needed, kind of wear and tear, regular stuff, were some suspension components that I had to replace. Relatively inexpensive repair. I think it was $600 or $700. You can watch my 4 years of ownership video for more details on that and all the costs and everything like that. But in any case, really nothing ever went wrong. And that suspension thing, I think, was really because I was driving somewhere out in rural Texas, and there was this big kind of dip in the road. And anyway, I didn't see it. And yeah, anyway, that was not good. So that's probably where I got hurt. There's another place nearby here where I took I was going too fast and there was a dip as well. So that may have put a little bit of, a little bit of strain on that suspension component. But, things wear out over time. The car, after all, was a 2017 car. And then I brought it here to Texas in 2021. And I think I did those repairs in late 2022, I think it was. Other than that, really nothing, just windshield wiper fluid. Of course, I did get into that accident, which was unfortunate. And then someone hit my car while it was parked like 2 weeks ago. So just a couple of weeks before I sold it. So that was a bummer. But what are you going to do? Thankfully, that one was kind of relatively minor damage. Although the funny thing is, it was in the bumper, the front bumper on the driver's side, just like where the majority of the damage was done in the last accident. So kind of ironic, but anyway. So the car on its own, though, very there were those two accidents, but the car was very reliable. On its own, it was fantastic. The other cool thing that I got to witness over the 4+ years of ownership and the about 30,000 miles that I put on the car was to watch FSD get better. So when I first got the car, we only had Navigate on autopilot, and I did pay to upgrade to full self-driving, but it took a while before we were able to get the camera retrofit so that I could actually join the beta and get full self-driving on my car. When I finally did, it was really cool to now be able to, handle stop signs, stop lights. Although maybe it did the stop signs, but it couldn't it couldn't take left and right turns on city streets. So that was kind of the new thing. And then over time, I just watched the system continually improve. One of my favorite versions was right before I got into the accident. It was like version 11.4-ish, somewhere around there. It was a really good balance between the hard-coded stuff and the neural nets, to where you could still tell the car, hey, change lanes. And if you cancel the lane change, it wouldn't immediately try to reinitiate the lane change. I don't know. And also you could set this exact speed that you wanted to go. So it was this really good kind of hybrid of self-driving, but then also allowing for a lot of user input. But it was jerky. So once we got version 12 of full self-driving, it got a whole lot smoother. And initially I had a problem with lane centering. They did work that out. But then the other problem you started to have, especially when they went to automatic speed control, is that you no longer had that nice blend between driver decisions, like our user input, and the full self-driving, to where if you cancel a lane change, it immediately wants to try to make that lane change again. You're going to have to disable the system to tell it like to stop and then re-engage it, which can be dangerous, of course. And then also the speed control, because basically they're trying to get it to where the car does everything. And if the car had been doing everything just right, then there'd be no need to intervene as the user. But it's in this kind of awkward intermediate stage where the car wants to do everything, but it's not quite doing everything right, or at least to my tastes, and it can be a little bit annoying. Is way too timid and hesitates on lane changes and just goes too slowly, and I'm not a real big fan of it at night on city streets. At night on the highway, it's just fine, totally awesome, way better than version 11. And then during the daytime, for the most part, it's actually really, really good as well. So daytime driving, both on city streets and at night, I think is really, really good. It is not as good, though, as what I've seen for other people in other areas on version 13 on a hardware 4 vehicle, like one of the new Model Ys or Model 3s. That being said, it's been an absolutely amazing experience to go from, first just getting that autopilot and being amazed at how much the car can handle on the highway to, then getting FSD, and then just all of those developments to where, when I went to go sell my car to CarMax, I turned the system on and it took, the left turn, crossing an unprotected left turn Chuck Cook style across 3 lanes and then into another, the other side of the highway that has 3 lanes, not highway, but my city street out there. And then it took me all the way to CarMax just fine. I dealt with, a parked trailer carrying vehicles and all kinds of stuff along the way. Construction, because there's always construction out here. I don't know what's going on in Plano. But anyway, the car absolutely did great. And it was a really cool way to end kind of the ownership experience, having the car chauffeur me to CarMax where it was going to be sold. And a quick little shout out to CarMax, obviously not sponsored, but it was a nice, painless experience. I'd gotten an online quote before, it had expired on Friday, but they were able to come up with the exact same appraisal, even though that had expired, like in person. And the whole process took an hour and 50 minutes, an hour and 48 minutes actually, to sell the car and to come home. So it was just really, really a painless experience, and it was really, really good. So if I were staying somewhere where I needed a vehicle, I would 100% doubtless buy another Tesla. I don't think there's any better vehicle on the market. I might be tempted by a Model 3 Performance, but actually the Model S is such a beautiful car. So if I could get, a brand new hardware 4 Model S, that would still be my pick of all the vehicles. But then again, the training data and everything is better on the hardware 4 Model Ys, so we'll just have to see. But at the same time, hopefully with Tesla launching Robotaxi in Austin, just a small scale trial and they'll expand over time. That's supposed to be happening in June, which is, the month of the airing of this episode or this video. So hopefully that's going, and maybe they haven't done it yet, but it is entirely possible that we could get within, a couple of years' time to a place where car ownership, especially in a large metro area like DFW, just isn't necessary anymore. So fingers crossed on that. But again, just had an absolutely wonderful experience owning this Tesla vehicle. There's nothing else like it. I wouldn't want to own any other vehicle but a Tesla. Yeah, just the whole experience from never needing to go to a gas station. The car is always charging whenever I'm home or asleep. So cool. Just one less thing to have to think about. The amazing acceleration, the looks of the vehicle, the driving dynamics, the full self-driving, all the really cool little features in the app and in the vehicle, like dog mode and camping mode and cabin overheat protection and I don't know, just all these little things that they put into the Tesla. Romance mode, I couldn't do the light shows, but that would be cool too as well. So yeah, just all kinds of cool stuff that Tesla does. And I just, I hope they keep up the great work with it. And yeah, it's been an amazing car to own. And I can't believe I sold it, but had a good reason to. So, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.